Hello, welcome to the July 15th, 2026 Environmental Quality Commission meeting. This is an in-person and virtual meeting with Environmental Quality Commission members, city staff, and members of the public. I would like to now introduce staff and EQC members present. In the room, we have me, Chair Hill, and Commissioners Goodwin, Kissel, McKenna, and Saad. And staff present include Sustainability Manager Rachel Launder. Absent this evening are Vice Chair Hernandez and Commissioner Angeal. Ms. Launder, would you please provide instructions to the Commission and members of the public on how the meeting will proceed?
Sure. Thank you, Chair Hill. I'd like to start by sharing our process for public comment. If you are in person, there are public comment cards on that desk over there, and you can return them to me. For those of you who are attending virtually, you can hit the raise hand button, which is either to the right of your name or the bottom of your screen, depending on your device, for whichever item you'd like to make public comment on. For this evening, you'll probably have 3 minutes for public comment, but that is up to the chair, depending on how many speakers there are for each item. And then if you are on a landline, you can press *9 and it can unmute you. So that's it for public comment, and I'll return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Launder. Under public comment, the public may address the Commission. This is item C, public comment. And under public comment, the public may address the Commission on any subject that is not listed on the agenda. Each speaker may address the Commission once under public comment for a limit of 3 minutes, most likely. While you are not required to provide your name or your city of residence, it is helpful. The Commission cannot act on items that are not listed on the agenda, and therefore the Commission cannot respond to non-agenda issues brought up under public comment other than to provide general information. Sustainability Manager Launder, please call for public comment.
Absolutely. If you'd like to make public comment on an item not on the agenda, you can return a speaker card to me, or you can press *9 if you're calling in, or hit that raise hand button on Zoom. We do have one card in the room, so we can start with Brian Schmidt when you're ready, Brian.
Okay, thank you. Brian Schmidt from Menlo Spark. Just want to mention a couple things, one of which I mentioned yesterday at City Council, that the City of Burlingame had a study session last week on their own version of REACH codes, where they unanimously supported strong REACH codes. They tried to do the strongest yet, which they attempted to do by making a recommendation to staff to develop an ordinance, which includes non-residential AC to heat pump. And for FlexPath, they use Menlo Park's threshold for determining when environmental renovations are required, but using the point score from San Mateo and East Palo Alto, which appears to require much more out of the FlexPath than what Menlo Park originally did. And at that study session, one of the council members was asking why Menlo Park had a relatively low version of their own point score. I explained in public comment that Menlo Park was doing under severe time constraints, but now the City of Burlingame has a chance to do something more extensive. I would say that so does the City of Menlo Park at this point. So I'm hoping there's a chance to revisit that, including the non-residential AC to heat pump, which Menlo Park has expressed interest in doing in the past. Two of the things of note that I'd like to mention, one of which is at the City Council meeting, the mayor said that there is new vacancy on the Park and Recreation Commission. So if anybody knows someone who might be interested in that, that might be important to let people know about. Deadline is July 31st. And the other thing I'll just mention is about 2 weeks ago, I purchased an e-bike. And it's been fantastic. I'm definitely a convert. I think it is a great way to get around. Moves you a little slower than in a car, but much more sustainably and much more enjoyably. So I thought I'd just pass that along for anyone else who's thinking about that too. Thanks, everyone. And maybe the city can think about how it does and supports e-bikes and make sure people don't compete at the same time. Thanks.
Thank you for your comment. I don't see any hands online or any additional cards in the room. So I think we can close the public comment on item C and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Launder. We're now at item D, regular business. Item D1 is to approve the June 17th Environmental Quality Commission meeting minutes. Are there any clarifying questions from the EQC before we take public comment on this item? No? Okay, Ms. Launder, do we have public comment on this item?
Sure, let's open up public comment for item D1, approving the June 17th EQC meeting minutes. If you're in the room and you have a card, you can return it to me. If you're online, you can hit the raise hand button. And if you're calling in, you can press *9. I don't see any. Oh, I do see one hand online. So Isabel, I'm going to allow you to talk and then ask you to unmute. And whenever you're ready, you'll have 3 minutes.
Oh, hi. Sorry, this is my first time to attend the appeal. I don't quite understand how to process that. But we are appeal for the 2174 Clayton Drive. We want to remove a tree on the site.
That's our next item. If we can hold off until then.
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
That's the next item on our agenda. If we can hold off until then.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, no worries. Thank you. Okay. So seeing no additional hands for item D1, we can close public comment and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Launder. This item is now open for EQC discussion and motion. All right, I've seen a ton of discussion. How about a motion to
Get a motion to approve the meeting minutes?
1 second, okay. Ms. Launder, please state the motion.
Okay, we have a motion by Commissioner McKenna and a second by Commissioner Goodwin to approve the June 17th Environmental Quality Commission special meeting minutes. And I will do roll call since we have a few folks absent. I'm just going to go in order around the table. Commissioner Saad,
I approve.
Commissioner Kissel,
Yes.
Commissioner McKenna,
Yes.
Commissioner Goodwin,
Yes.
and Chair Hill.
Yes.
Okay, the motion passes with 5 in favor and 2 absent. And we can return the meeting to you, Chair.
Chair, can I say one thing is the order is little off is because D1, we are on D2 according to the published agenda. And then you guys mentioned D1. So just for the public not to get confused.
Oh, thank you, Commissioner Saad.
Got it. Thank you.
Speaking of item D2 and Commissioner Saad, excuse me, Commissioner Saad, welcome.
Thank you.
Welcome very much. Commissioner Saad was appointed during the June 23rd City Council meeting. Commissioner Saad, welcome to the EQC. And if you'd like to introduce yourself, please take a few minutes to do so.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. My name is Nabil Saad. I've served before. I'm a resident of Menlo Park for 23 years. And I've served before on the IRC back in 2021 to 2022 for 9 months. And for those who don't know what the IRC is, it's the Independent Redistricting Commission that happens once every 10 years in Menlo Park. My background is in environmental science. Have a deep expertise in air quality management and air quality measurements and the designing of instruments for greenhouse gas monitoring. So I ask my colleagues on the commission to not spare me. If you need any expertise or help, and then involve me in any discussions, even if it's with other collaborators outside the commission. Thank you so much.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay.
Speaking of welcome, are there any clarifying questions before we take public comment on this item?
No, just really glad to have you. Sounds like you have amazing expertise that we can all value from, and appreciate your offer to let us tap into that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Ms. Launder, do we have public comment on this item?
Sure. I'm opening up public comment for our item welcoming our new commissioner, Nabil Saad. You have a card in the room. You can return it to me. If you're online, you can hit the raise hand button. And if you're calling in, you can press *9 and we will be able to unmute you. Okay, with no cards in the room or hands online, we can close public comment and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Thank you. This item is now open for EQC discussion. Haven't discussed it. Okay. We will move on to item D3. This is the appeal of a permit application to remove one heritage tree at 2174 Clayton Drive. We'll open this item with a presentation from staff, followed by a 10-minute presentation from the appellant. Then we'll open public comment with speakers limited to 3 minutes. And if there are more than 10 speakers, public comment can be limited to 2 minutes. If there are more than 20 speakers, public comment time can be limited to 1 minute per city council policy. Clarifying questions, discussion, and a motion will happen after public comment. City Arborist Keller, will you please begin with your presentation?
Pull up her presentation. Julian, are you able to unmute yourself? Looks like you're there.
Hi, can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Hi, Julian, welcome.
Thank you. All right, so let's get started. I put together a couple of slides, and then after I present these slides, I put together a write-up I would like to read to you all. So this is regarding my denial for a development-based heritage tree removal at 2174 Clayton Drive. Next slide.
Did that show up for you?
Did we lose you?
I'm here. Are you guys still able to see and hear me?
Yeah, I'm just wondering if you can see the next slide on your end or if it didn't advance.
It didn't advance. It's stuck on the first slide with a spinning blue circle.
Let me just try sharing directly from then. Do you see it now on the right slide? Does
Yes,
that look right, Julian?
I see the second slide now.
Okay, awesome.
I think it's missing a graphic.
Okay. Well, is it all right if we move on? Do you know what the graphic?
Oh, it was just a picture that said tough decisions ahead.
Oh, gotcha.
But hopefully this is still generally the same PowerPoint presentation. So in Menlo Park, for development-based heritage tree removals, there are a few items that are required, including a completed application form, an arborist report, proposed construction site plans, mitigation plan, and an alternative design and cost analysis study. The applicant did provide all of these required documents. Next slide.
Have a little bit of lag.
Although, just really briefly, the mitigation plan didn't quite meet the city's requirements. So in Menlo Park, mitigation based on a tree's appraised value is required. So for this oak, it was appraised at about $8,000. And the applicant proposed to replant 4 Okame Japanese flowering cherries, which are brilliant, gorgeous trees, but technically don't meet our heritage tree replacement requirements. That's not the basis by which I denied the proposed tree removal, but I just wanted to bring it up. They don't meet the requirement for a mature height of at least 35 feet tall. So in Menlo Park, the intention of the heritage tree replacements is to plant a tree that will eventually grow big and tall and replace the canopy and the many benefits lost by that heritage tree removal. Next slide.
Do you see the mitigation plan slide?
Pardon?
Is that the right slide for you? The alternative
Yes.
design?
This is now the right slide. Okay. So one of the more challenging parts of our heritage tree removal permit application process for development is including an alternative design and cost analysis. So this entails providing diagrams and or written descriptions of alternative designs that enable tree preservation while following zoning rules that allow for adjustments. So for an alternative design that does enable the tree's preservation, the applicant is required to provide a breakdown of the additional construction costs of implementing that alternative design that would save the tree, which the applicant did, which I'm sure they can get into more detail about later. But technically, they did show that implementing the alternative design did exceed 140% of the tree's appraised value, which technically in Menlo Park meets the criteria for approving a tree for removal. Next slide. I'm gonna get into like my argument about this. Okay. So this is the tree here. It's right along the property line. So our greatest opportunity for tree preservation lies with trees along the property line. They are usually the furthest away from proposed development. This is a heritage native coast live oak. In my opinion, some of the most valuable trees that we have in Menlo Park. A native species, they provide a lot of environmental benefits for local wildlife. This tree was in very good health. It had fair structure. The species, coast live oak, has very good tolerance of root loss and changes to its environment. This is also a rather large specimen at 55 feet tall and 30 feet wide. So the applicant wishes to demolish this existing home adjacent to the tree and replace it with a new, larger house. And it is entirely possible to preserve this tree by using an alternative foundation method next to the tree that would help avoid severing too many of the tree's structural roots. Next slide. So in the construction industry, it is very common practice to utilize these alternative foundation types in conjunction with specific tree protection measures like having tree protection fencing or trunk protection, and careful excavation around trees to uncover roots and then work around and minimize impacts to larger structural roots vital to the tree's health and structure. Like I mentioned earlier, this coast live oak is also very healthy, meaning it's more vigorous, more able to withstand and heal from damage. This species is also very tolerant of root loss. And if you take a look at their cost estimate for implementing the alternative design, you can see that they have an estimated cost of about $55,000 for implementing the alternative design to preserve the tree compared to the tree's appraised value of $8,000. So I'm going to read you this prepared argument that I have to end my presentation here. So I've been Menlo Park City Arborist for about 4 years. I have reviewed hundreds of heritage tree removal permit applications in Menlo Park. And I've seen firsthand the intense pressure our urban forests face from residential redevelopment. Today, I'm asking you to uphold the denial of the removal of this healthy native coast live oak. The developer argues that because the cost of the alternative design foundation exceeds the tree's appraised value, preservation is not financially feasible. And I want to be entirely truthful with you guys. Like, being Menlo Park City Arborist for 4 years, reviewing hundreds of heritage tree removal permit applications, a lot of them based on development, not once has it been proven that it is financially feasible to preserve a heritage tree, which I don't think is right, honestly. I think if we accept the current framework we are establishing and upholding a precedent where it is financially impossible to save any heritage tree on a development site in Menlo Park. Under this logic, the price of construction and labor will always outpace the tree's appraised value, kind of like making our heritage tree ordinance like useless. So I know technically the tree meets the city's requirements for approving removal. But this tree is just so healthy. It's a native species. It's able to tolerate a lot of impact. And like I did have a virtual meeting with the applicant and their architect, and they even have experience implementing these alternative foundation types to preserve trees next to new houses. So that's basically it. Just I will respect whatever decision you guys make. But I just wanted to, I don't know, just like see what we could do to potentially like enact change to fix our broken heritage tree ordinance if it is even possible. Okay, that's it for me.
Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Keller. Ms. Launder, please open public comment.
Oh, so we'll now have the,
Oh, the appellant.
yes.
Ms. Launder, please invite the appellant to address the commission.
Okay, and so I think, Isabella, are you the appellant? I'm asking you to unmute here on Zoom.
Can you hear me?
Yes. Is this the item where you're the appellant?
Yes.
Okay, I will pull up your slide. And if you're able to go on camera, we will be able to see you in the room, so that would be helpful.
I don't know how to turn on the camera because it didn't give me the permission or give me the option to turn on the camera. Usually there is an icon on the left.
I just promoted you to panelist, so you should be able to accept that.
Oh, okay.
There you are.
Hello.
Thank you
Right.
for joining
Hi.
us. Okay.
Yeah, this is the tree.
Mhm.
This is tree removal appeal. So, first thing I want to correct one thing in Jalen's presentation. On the photo, it looks like that heritage tree is along the property line, but it looks like it's very close to the fence, but the fence is not on the property line. So the heritage tree is about 5 feet around, or maybe 5 to 6 feet around, 5 to 6 feet from the property line, actually. It's not very close to the property line.
Slide.
Hello?
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, can you see the slides?
Yeah,
Just
I
let
can
me
see.
know when you want the next slide.
Yeah, please do the next slide. So this is the denial letter that says the new house is proposed at least 5.5 feet from the tree's trunk. Please do the next slide. This is our site plan. You can see the tree number 9 is not very close to the property line. From the photo that Jillian showed, it looks like it's very close to the fence, but since the fence is not on the property line, so it may confused. This is the floor plan that we designed, and then tree number 9, you can see is there. It's close to the to the dining room, and it also affect the first floor and the second floor. So currently that's about maybe 3 feet 3 feet away from the house. This is the cost analysis. Jillian also showed that it's 55,000 higher if we cannot remove the tree number 9. This is from the arborist report. It shows appraised value 8,000. So yeah, this is the conclusion that we still want to remove the tree number 9 since keeping it will be very difficult for the design, and the cost will be 55,000, which is much higher than the 140% of the tree appraised value, which is 8,000. What we can do, Jillian also mentioned that the mitigation plan doesn't meet heritage tree requirement. For this part, we probably can do something else, like plant more trees or plant some other trees that meets the requirement, that the city can give us some instructions or guidance. Or there is another option that we can design a pier foundation to reduce the space of the new house to the tree trunk from the 5.5 feet to 4 feet. I don't know if that is better. And that's all.
Thank you for your presentation, Isabel. Let me know if you'd like to open up public comment. Chair.
Yes, I would. Thank you for your presentation, Ms. Sun, and Ms. Launder, please open up for public comment.
Absolutely. Okay, if you are interested in making public comment on item D3, deny the appeal and uphold staff's decision to deny the permit application to remove 1 heritage tree at 2174 Clayton Drive, please submit a speaker card if you're in person. If you're online, you can hit the raise hand button, and if you're calling in, you can press *9. Not seeing cards in the room or hands online. So once again, we're opening up public comment for item D3 on the decision to deny the appeal and uphold staff's decision for the heritage tree at 2174 Clayton. No public comment on item D3, so we can close that part of our meeting and return it to you, Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Launder. Are there any clarifying questions from the EQC? Or would one of my colleagues like to begin discussion?
Please go ahead.
A clarifying question for Jillian, what the foundation, alternative foundation work represents, what's required for them? I mean, what's the proposed foundation and what's the alternative foundation?
That's a question for Jillian.
All right, I think the applicant might be able to speak more to the specific construction and structural details for the alternative foundation, but generally it's my understanding that it would be a pier foundation. So instead of like a continuous like slab of concrete, that would require just a lot of root severance and excavation. With the pier foundation, the excavation could be concentrated to only the areas where the piers would be. So there would also generally be some flexibility, like in positioning the locations of the piers around the tree roots. Like if, and this is pretty common on construction sites, they did what we call exploratory excavation. So they carefully hand dug or use like high pressure air or water to like remove the soil and cover the tree roots, and then locate where those larger structural roots are, and then position the piers around those roots to enable their preservation. That is what I've seen most common with these alternative pier foundations that enable a nearby tree's preservation.
So the foundation itself wouldn't change the footprint, it would just change how the foundation is constructed.
Right.
Thank you.
Commissioner Saab.
Thank you. I have a question also for Ms. Sun. Ms. Sun, are these property meant for your own use, or eventually they'll be sold out as investment properties?
Oh.
You're muted, ma'am.
Okay, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
So the right side of the so there are two lots. We're talking about the lot number 1, which is on the right side of the other one. This one will be sold.
The one with the proposed tree.
Yes,
Where tree number 9 is.
yes.
Okay, so the reason I'm asking is because whatever invested amount would be to be able to keep that heritage tree can be recouped eventually with the sale of the house, if I'm not mistaken.
Can you say it again? I'm sorry.
So what I'm saying is this is a sunk cost for you if we were to stick and uphold the staff decision, the $55,000 that you've submitted with the Yes Group prime company can be recouped with the sale of the house.
Probably not, because the house value, I want to say we bought this house a little bit high at a high price, so we hope we can break it even and make a little bit money.
Okay, and
So
on
any
page
cost
number,
is very, very important to us.
okay, on page number 24, and that's Julian, please feel free to chime in as well. In the first paragraph, it says, during the city's initial review of the application, the applicant received a comment indicating that the proposed tree replacement did not meet the city's requirement and was advised to update the plan. However, no revised landscape plan was uploaded with the application. Is that still the status, Julian? Ms. Keller?
Yeah, that's my understanding. We didn't get an updated tree replacement plan, but it sounds like the applicant is open to revising their initial plan with more trees, perhaps larger trees that meet the city's heritage tree replacement requirements, which I certainly appreciate if it does come to the removal of this oak tree. At least we would be able to plant new trees. But then again, with the understanding it would take decades really to replace the value that this tree provides.
Thank you so much for that question. And if there's deliberation, I have a couple comments later on, but please feel free.
We'll keep going with questions if you have any.
Just to piggyback off of what you were saying, have you happened to get a comparable market analysis for the lot that you intend to sell?
That Ms. Sun, you need to.
Oh, okay, I'm sorry.
Ms. Sun, that question was for you.
Hi,
Could you
Ms.
say
Sun.
that
Hi, Ms. Sun. I just wanted to know, did you happen to get a comparable market analysis for the lot that you intend to sell from, like, have it appraised, or could go to a real estate agent to see how much it will cost to sell the lot?
Yeah, we talk about that. That's why every penny is very important to us, because we bought it April in last year, which is when the market is very high. So we bought this lot at a high price. We need to save every penny.
Oh, okay. And then, like, so the most recent comparable market analysis won't, like, that you obtained, it won't cover the cost?
Not recently, but early of this year. Early of this year, we talk about that, and that's why we need to save every penny.
Commissioner,
Yes, Ms. Sun, a question. In your last slide, there was a comment about 4 feet instead of 5.5 feet. I was curious, is that a proposal you're making to keep the tree, but do an alternative design that is more affordable for you?
So, if we can remove the tree now, then that will be great. If you guys still cannot approve our tree removal and still want to keep the tree, we need to have some alternative plan. So keeping this tree and use a pure foundation will also increase the cost that we have, but not the 55,000, probably around 30,000, but still a lot. But if you really, really don't want to have us remove that tree, then we still need to move forward, right?
Okay, and
I
then,
would really
Jillian,
appreciate if we can remove that tree. That
yeah,
really helps.
just a question for Jillian in follow-up to that. Is that alternative design with a 4-foot space instead of 5.5 acceptable to the city?
Yeah, that was a good question. When I gave them a requirement for 5.5 feet of clearance from the tree's trunk, that was based on an industry standard that we use, our best management practices for managing and preserving trees around construction. So generally you take the tree's trunk diameter and you multiply it by 3, and that gives you some like a general like guideline for like not getting any closer than that distance, because that's usually for most trees where the critical root zones are. But you know, it also is case by case, right? Like this is a species that is really tolerant of root loss. This is a very healthy tree that can respond and heal from damage if it's protected properly. If you have really careful excavation by hand or with high pressure air with your arborist on site guiding the process, you can avoid most of the roots, especially with the pure foundation. So it'll also depend on like what the root system looks like when all the soil is removed. But I think generally, while not ideal, like it could still be possible.
Okay, thank you. Those are my clarifying questions.
have a question on page 28 of the agenda packet. There's and page 29, there are diagrams of the proposed first floor and second floor of the house, and then the alternate that would be required in order to retain the tree. And I'm wondering, when I look at the alternate, it seems that the alternate is backing away. It's a very big difference from the original, and it backs away from every last inch of the tree canopy. And I wondered if that was actually necessary, if that design is really what would be required in order to accommodate the tree, or if there's trimming. I'm just puzzled by how drastic the difference is. Either of you have thoughts on that?
Oh, I'm unmuting myself. Yeah, that was the architect draw that drawings to show the difference. We actually tried a couple different designs, but any of the design we will also have more exterior walls, more foundation length, and more like area. You know, if the shape is not like a regular rectangular and make it longer, then the line will be longer. So any other designs will also cost more.
Okay, yeah, I understand that you have found the optimal shape for construction efficiency in the proposal for if there were no trees at all on the lot, this would be the shape. I'm wondering if anybody knows if the depiction of this is the shape that you have for the ideal,
Do you want me to call that up?
yeah, that would be really helpful.
It's hard to see.
That would be really helpful, thank
Yeah,
you.
no problem. It might take me a second.
It's page 28 and 29 of the packet.
Yeah, because that part is the dining room on the first floor and also the master room on the second floor. If we cannot do like this kind of shape, then we need to move the dining to this part and also the master room to that part because we cannot have the half master room still there, right? That makes the
Okay,
shape.
oh, so it changes a lot, not because of the tree, but because of the integrity of the rooms.
Yeah.
Thank you for explaining that. Okay, so for people who might have been lost by my question, Ms. Launder has pulled up the images that I was referring to. And on the right is the ideal shape of, can you, Ms. Launder, would you get the previous page of the first floor?
Yeah.
Thank you. This is the first floor with tree number 9 in the upper right-hand corner. On the right-hand side, if there were no trees at all, this is the building that they would build. On the left is the architect's idea for what it would be if we accommodated the tree. And I just wondered if so much of a change were necessary, but Ms. Sun said that it is, so there you are. Are there any more questions, or we can get into discussion? Okay, who wants to kick off the discussion? Chairman, Commissioner McKenna.
Oh, sure.
Distinguished former chair.
So I think what the situation here is like, I don't fully to this day comprehend the authority that the Environmental Quality Commission has in these such situations. We have a heritage tree ordinance. It needs fixing. It does not value trees appropriately, but it's what we have on the books today. And there's a stipulation that if an alternative design costs more than 140% of the tree's value, then the applicant does not have to keep the tree and can remove the tree. And so for us as a body to say that we still want this tree to remain because we all dearly love trees, I don't know if we have that authority to do that. What ideally would happen is we figure out some sort of compromise where we keep the tree, the applicant is comfortable with whatever compromise there is, and it's not an extremely additional cost to the applicant. But that's really not up to me. That I don't think as a commissioner, I'd be happy to brainstorm ideas, but we're not contractors and we don't know the best way to build a home. There's really no way for us to validate the cost estimates that the applicant's contractor is giving us. So maybe it's not 140%, maybe it's much less, but I think we have to take the information the applicant provided and consider it honest and accurate. So I truly appreciate Jillian, our arborist's interpretation of this and efforts to save a very healthy tree. But those are my concerns, do we even have the authority with our heritage tree ordinance being what it is to say no, that you have to keep this tree? But again, I would love if we could come up to some sort of compromise that allows the tree to remain and the homeowner applicant is happy with the result. And I'm happy to discuss more, but those are my initial thoughts.
Anybody have comments connected to what Commissioner McKenna says?
Yeah, if you allow me, Chairman Hill. So, Ms. Sun, I really appreciate you making your home Menlo Park and adding more housing capacity. That's very honorable. This is what the city is trying to achieve as well with the housing element. What worries me, Chairman Hill, is the fact that there are 9 heritage trees and the proposed is the removal of 8 of them. And that's a big loss on one lot. And for us to preserve this, really, if you saw the description of this tree, it's definitely a massive tree. We need part of our struggle to meet also our emissions reduction is to have greenhouse gases sink, and trees are the best greenhouse gases sink in our area. And I believe also my questions were leading to the fact that if this property is sold, part of that sunk cost into the protection of the tree might be recovered. Also, the fact that there's a room for us to do a 4 feet recess instead of 5.5, which reduced the cost, by the way, of maybe, as I'll quote you, Ms. Sun, on this one, is from 55 maybe to $30,000 is even alleviate a little bit of the cost on this. So, and to address Commissioner McKenna, although that's my first meeting, but the fact that also staff and the arborist were able to deny the request, it seems like they have this wiggle room, although it did not, and I think Ms. Keller was clear that although it met the 140%, exceeding 140% cost, still she has the authority to deny it. I'm not being a stickler, but I'm saying that it's excessive in this case that there are nine heritage trees, 8 are slated for removal. And the fact that there's a compromise and wiggle room for us to reduce the cost of keeping the tree is important. That's my input. Again, it's all done in the good intention of making air quality for you and for your family and for our families and the Menlo Park residents better, and trying to reach a good compromise between the two. Thank you.
Any other thoughts?
Well, just one question for Jillian, I guess, is we had this conversation before about when the city informs applicants that their current plan is not in compliance due to trees, and they don't make any changes to the plan, what recourse does the city have? Because it does seem, to your point, Jillian, earlier, that every developer just maximizes the lot without regard to trees, and then after the fact comes back and says, well, it's going to be too expensive to design around the trees, as opposed to designing around the trees at the outset. So I guess the question for you is, what's the city's policy of when an applicant applies with a plan that knowingly does not protect heritage trees and then makes no changes?
Yeah, that's a great question, and that's one of the challenges of reviewing these development permits. We do what we can. So my contractor and I, we review a lot of building and demolition and planning permit applications, and when we notice that there is opportunity to give a tree a bit more space, like increase the likelihood of it surviving and thriving after construction, we will provide that comment to the applicant and let them know that we will not provide our approval for the application unless that change is made. So usually that's for us to be able to help preserve trees that they were originally intending to preserve. There's not a whole lot we can do for trees that they've already determined that they will remove and have already submitted a heritage tree removal permit application for. Even though a lot of them do submit alternative designs that are, you know, while they might not be financially feasible from a constructability standpoint, they're possible. A lot of them entail like these alternative foundation types. It's just, you know, construction and labor costs across the Bay Area, across the country really have skyrocketed. And then the industry's standard for appraising trees has remained the same throughout this whole process. And, you know, when you compare the construction costs to a tree's appraised value, it'll always result in the tree losing, like the tree being removed for construction. And it's heartbreaking for me as a tree lover. But yeah, there's not much we can do. And, you know, I've reviewed again hundreds of these applications and have had to issue removal permits for so many trees for development. And technically this meets the city's requirements for removal, but just again wanted to see if there was something that we could do, something we could reconsider about our process. And if this isn't the right avenue, like I would totally understand. And also understanding that there's only so much you can do as the Environmental Quality Commission. I will say, and maybe this will give you a little bit of hope, we are working on updating our administrative guidelines, and we are taking a close look at our criteria for determining feasibility for tree preservation around development, hopefully making that process more effective, because right now it really isn't. And would have to work with our city attorney's office on this, but in my experience, they've been very unwilling to make these changes. They've been very conservative. They've kind of been a bit, well, they try to do things as legally as possible, and sometimes that doesn't always favor the trees. But yeah, again, just like totally understanding and respecting whatever decision you guys make. I know this is a difficult situation, and like, again, like, you know, technically the tree can be removed using the city's guidelines and ordinance.
Sustainability Manager Lunder, our recommendation ultimately goes to the city council for a decision. Is that correct?
It only will go to city council if the appellant appeals the EQC's decision on it.
Okay.
And just a little bit more color to kind of the EQC's authority here. I mean, the EQC does have to make a determination based on the Heritage Tree Ordinance and the administrative guidelines. And that, you know, involves discussion around, is the design, the alternative design, you know, reasonable? Are the costs reasonable? And so I understand like you haven't had the opportunity to kind of do that analysis, but that discussion can happen, and that discussion can inform the EQC's decision on it. And then also the EQC can consider all of the application materials and the completeness of those materials, including the completeness of whether or not the updated tree replacement plan is included, and evaluate the tree replacement plan.
The thing that's been striking me about this is that there's an incomplete conversation that has there's some conversation that has happened, but it is still incomplete in that we don't have a clear picture of what the replacement will be if it's 9 heritage trees that are being taken out of this incredibly leafy neighborhood, which is almost all the trees on the entire lot. The lot will go from trees to all building. And that's a significant change for the urban canopy, for the city, for the neighborhood. But it's good in many ways as well. It looks like a very handsome house, and it's a significant improvement to our housing stock. And so those are all good. But it does seem as though the value of the lot would be substantially increased by keeping this beautiful tree, and therefore it does hit me that we don't have the complete replacement plan in place for the mitigation. We don't necessarily have a complete conversation that's happened about what sorts of things the tree could tolerate. And so I wonder whether we're well positioned to make a determination, because that's an important piece of it.
So what would you require in this case?
If I would ask, if we are making a determination tonight, I know what determination I would make based upon the information that we have. But I'm just wondering if there is a possible conversation that could happen without our having, if we were to not make a determination, if we were to postpone a determination, is there a conversation that could solve this? That's what I don't know.
I don't know within the Heritage Tree Ordinance if we can postpone the conversation. If the EQC cannot come to a decision, then staff's recommendation is upheld.
Got it.
So can I ask the applicant a question?
Yeah.
Ms. Sun, the concept of the pier foundation with the structure 4 feet from the tree instead of 5.5 feet, which would preserve the tree, which is what we all want. Is that a acceptable outcome for you?
She needs to unmute.
I would really appreciate if we can remove the tree, but if you still cannot do that, then we have no choice, right?
Well, then, it seems like we should make a determination, and I wonder if we're.
Like, I have one more question.
Oh, you know, we're not.
Sorry.
Please.
What will be done to ensure that the proper mitigation plan is required and implemented? Like, if there seems to be an insignificant mitigation plan in place, at a minimum, we need the mitigation plan to meet the city's requirements. So what role does EQC have in that?
After this hearing, there wouldn't be another juncture point. That would go back, I believe, into internal reviews. And Jillian would probably know better at what stage she would get to weigh in on that again, or request those materials again. Maybe at building permit issuance, maybe before.
Well, I guess the question is, can the applicant proceed without a proper mitigation plan in place? Or will that just get taken care of down the road?
Yeah, we need to understand what is the mechanism for ensuring that the proper planting is done.
Jillian, are you able to answer that?
Yeah, so this is regarding the replacement tree plantings for heritage tree
Yes.
removal. So when we issue a heritage tree removal permit, the approval of the removal is conditioned on a couple of things. One of those things being planting the agreed upon replacement trees. So those replacement trees must also be on the planning permit application. It must also be on the building and the demolition permit. So it's all documented on the plan sets for those other permits, and we double check and triple check. This is one of the few things we can do. Make sure that the plan for heritage tree replacement is consistent with what we approved, that it remains on the plans. And it's always conditioned that the heritage tree replacements be planted prior. So it takes a while, you know, maybe not the most effective, but not the most effective way, but you know, they'll do their demolition, they'll completely wipe the site, and then they have construction, and like by the end of the whole thing, it might be like a year, 2 years, the end of the project when they're finally ready to do the landscaping work. So at that point, that's when we require the replacement trees to be planted. And then as a part of the building permit process, there is a final inspection that is done. And as a part of that final inspection, we also verify that the required heritage tree replacements are planted, you know, consistent with the approved plan, consistent with the heritage tree permit. And then if that's confirmed, in addition to all the other like building code compliance things they need to check and make sure are good, then the final approval for the project is provided, and then the what is it? The certificate of occupancy is issued. So that's one of the last things we check at the very end of the project, sometimes like a year, sometimes 2 years later.
So the removal permit will not be granted until the proper plan is submitted.
Yeah, so that
And
has
there's
to
checks,
be
there's checks along the way to ensure that that plan is implemented.
right.
Okay.
I have a question for Ms. Keller. Ms. Keller, what's your estimate of the age of tree number 9?
Yeah, good question. It looked to be maybe around like 30 to, oh, does Isabel know?
I seem to remember that the report said it was 30 years old, but
The only way is to look at the tree ring, but
Yeah, that's the
Uh,
only like
when we
definitive
chop the
way.
tree up.
Yeah.
Well,
Okay,
to find
that
out.
that's Miss Sun, do you agree it's about 30 years?
Oh, I don't know the tree age, but I want to talk about the mitigation plan. So, I think if it would be much easier if JDN or someone else can give us clear guidance that what kind of trees and how many trees or how many gallons of the trees that we need to plan, and we will try to coordinate that. We will try to make that happens in the landscaping plan. But if we don't have a clear guidance, then we don't know how to do that. Then it will be the back and forth again and again.
well, I think that it's very nicely spelled out in the agenda packet. Those details, and so you can start there and then run any questions past Ms. Keller. Are there other questions? I think we need to make a determination. So we can do that by discussing and trying to come to a decision, or we can just cold vote.
I'd like to make a last pitch discussion. Again, I'm just, hopefully I'm not repeating myself too much, but I think there's a compromise. It's a very hard situation, and I don't want activism to get in the way of process. But the fact that there are 9 proposed, 8 of the 9 trees are slated to be removed, it takes as long as 30 years to get to the stage where this tree is with the canopy. Plus, you made, Chair Hill, you made a very good point that the value of the property increases when you have such a beautiful tree, especially it's very close to the fence line in this case. So, and there's a good compromise regarding the 4 feet recess rather than the 5.5, which would reduce the cost of protecting this tree. And I think although again, it's a difficult decision to, since there's the clear process and criteria to meet, but then also we have as residents and that care about the value of those trees and the fact that this property is slated for sale eventually, so that cost can be recouped.
Maybe just state my position, how I think I'll vote. So if there's no modification, then I will stand with the city's recommendation. if the applicant's willing to do the pier approach with a 4-foot offset, then I would support going forward with that approach.
Yeah, I think this tree is worth well more than $30,000, well more than $55,000. But I don't feel like I have the authority to uphold the staff's recommendation. But I strongly urge the applicant to look at that compromise situation of a $30,000 adder to your design and preservation of a deer oak tree that I agree will add value to the property going forward. But I don't feel like I have the authority to tell you you can't remove that tree based on our heritage tree ordinance. But again, I strongly urge you to save that tree. Thank you.
Any remarks?
I agree with the city's decision.
With Jill.
Yeah.
So Commissioner McKenna encapsulated my thoughts. I think that there's an ordinance, the requirements have been met, or they will be met. I've just seen a few of these come through where there's a conversation and things kind of get solved and a few of the trees get saved. And very sorry not to see that happen here for all 9 trees to go. It does seem terrible. So I would,
8 out of the 9, actually. 8 out of the 9 in this case, not the whole 9.
so
there's
there's a
one-
tree number 9 going.
Yeah, but there's one that it was agreed upon that it would stay.
Oh, that's right, number 14.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay. So in any event, it seems like there's a conversation that could happen, but in any event, I would tend to believe that the requirements of the ordinance have been met, and that's the ordinance.
Is there a motion?
I move to vote on this or to support or not support the decision of staff.
Would you like to deny the appeal in alignment with staff or approve the appeal and deny staff?
Do you need a second motion though for?
But we just have to state the motion first.
Oh, yeah, I personally would like to uphold staff decision, provided also, and to be clear, that the 4 feet recess is possible. So to minimize the burden of the cost on the applicant.
I second that motion.
Okay, let me repeat it. A motion by Commissioner Sai, a second by Commissioner Kissel to deny the appeal and uphold staff's decision to deny the permit application to remove 1 heritage tree at 2174 Clayton Drive. And did you want to add anything about the 4-foot recess?
If possible, yes. It's favorable. I don't want to make it conditional, but
Yeah.
with favoring the 4
Okay,
4
favoring
feet
a
recess.
4-foot recess,
Yeah.
if possible. Does that sound right to you, Kitzel?
Yes.
And so we'll take a vote on this one, on this motion. Does anyone need me to repeat it or? Okay. And we'll go in order like we did last time. Commissioner Sai,
I vote to uphold the staff. Yes.
Yes.
Commissioner Kissel, Commissioner McKenna.
I'm not sure the right way to word this. I guess I'm against the motion, however, but very reluctantly, and hope that the applicant will find that compromise acceptable.
Commissioner Goodwin,
I vote to uphold the staff.
I highly reluctantly also do not support the motion, but really would love to see some kind of compromise.
okay. So our motion by Commissioner Sai and a second by Commissioner Kissel to deny the appeal. We have 3 in favor, 2 opposed, and 2 absent. Since we don't have a majority of the commission on that one, we'll need a second motion.
Okay, I move that we do not uphold staff the opinion.
We don't have a majority.
Because a majority of this commission is 4, so we have 3, yeah,
It's not the present.
correct.
Okay.
How are we ever gonna get there?
So we'll do this motion, we'll see how that looks, and then we'll get there, yeah. So we have a motion by Chair Hill, do we have a second? Okay. So we have a motion by Chair Hill and a second by Commissioner McKenna to approve the appeal and deny staff's decision to deny the permit application to remove one heritage tree at 2174 Clayton Drive. And again, we'll do our votes in order. So Commissioner Saad,
So is it to uphold the appeal?
correct.
I vote no.
Gitzel?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
Okay, so for that motion. Oh. Councilmember Nash, do you want me to unmute you?
Yes, please.
It looks like you're good, so whenever you're ready.
Thank you. I was just wondering if in fact there's different rules for a situation for this a heritage tree appeal, because typically it would be the majority of those present as opposed to the majority of people on the commission.
Okay. Well, in either event, since we have
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I appreciate you pointing out that policy. The commission would adhere to city council policy on that, Mayor Nash, so thank you for clarifying for me. But since,
So it doesn't have to be majority of the total number, just the
Yeah.
number
Majority
present,
of the present, of the attending, not really present, but also.
as long as we have a quorum here.
Yeah.
Correct.
excellent. Okay, and then just to wrap up that second motion though, we had 2 in favor and 3 opposed and 2 absent. And so in either scenario, whether we have the majority or kind of a failed motion, the staff's recommendation to deny the permit application to remove one heritage tree, we are denying the appeal.
Correct.
With that motion.
So, would you, summarize for Ms. Sun what the implications of denying the appeal are?
Sure, I don't know, Jillian, if you'd like to do that, or if you'd like me to do that.
So what happens if she can't remove that oak tree?
Correct, or what the next step in the appeal process is.
Yeah. So is she allowed to appeal again and then it goes to city council? Is that right?
Correct.
That's never happened before. It would be a first for me that it's ever gotten this far. And then I suppose city council would hear it and try to determine whether or not the tree met the city's criteria for removal based on our heritage tree ordinance and administrative guidelines. And if it does get to that point, I do at the very least hope that it brings attention to this issue about the ineffectiveness of our heritage tree ordinance. Maybe if council was aware of it, if more members of the public were aware, then we could get more support for changing it and making it more effective. If we got to that point. If for whatever reason, like it was determined that the tree couldn't be removed, then with regards to the permitting process, the plan set, the foundation specifically for that tree, no, for the plan set for the house, foundation construction would have to be modified so that you had the alternative foundation type next to that coast live oak, with the minimum distance of 4 feet. And then we would also need some notes in the plan set about how excavation near the tree roots would need to be done carefully, like by hand or with high pressure air, with the arborist involved in supervising and ensuring that the tree and its structural roots were left intact. The city would also require a monitoring report for that. So the arborist would be involved with preserving the roots around the foundation, take photos and then send it to the cities to me so that I can just verify, yes, this is all going according to plan, like we had agreed. Yeah, that would be it. Basically, you would just have to change the foundation details in the plan set. And then once we confirmed that that was done and that it seemed like it would be sufficient for preserving the tree and ensuring that it remained an asset to the site, that we were able to preserve enough of the tree's roots with that plan enacted, then I would be able to like sign off on the planning permit, which I think is pending this heritage tree discussion too.
And since we've taken a motion, we have to move on from that.
Yes. Okay, so we are now on to item D4, which is to set the fiscal year commission work plan. The annual work plan ad hoc subcommittee includes Commissioners Goodwin, Hernandez, and McKenna, and they will make a presentation. Are there any, they're going to make your presentation?
I don't think we have a presentation per se. Ms. Launder put some notes in the agenda. We met and we discussed, brainstormed some ideas for topics that we would want to focus on in the next fiscal year. So some things are sort of preordained and some things are sort of up for discussion, but we, in a previous EQC meeting, we had talked about having a follow-up subcommittee on building emission savings ordinance, BESO, the Berkeley ordinance, and the building performance standard concept of maybe a regional building performance standard. So that's something that we recommend get incorporated into next year's fiscal plan. I'll just go down the list. Sea level rise and resiliency, climate adaptation plan project updates. There is a company that has a product that reduces the urban heat island effect by paving parking lots and streets differently. So we thought that was something that would be worthy of further exploration to see if it's something Menlo Park might want to consider. The USGBC, U.S. Green Building Council, has a variety of programs around green buildings, but they also have a program for cities. And we thought it would be helpful to learn more about that program and whether it's something that Menlo Park might want to participate in, what would be the sort of effort involved, what would be the benefits of doing it. So we could have USGBC make a presentation. They've offered to do that. The Climate Action Plan Dashboard and Electrification Education Hub, I think we talked about just maybe forming a group around enhancing that resource for our residents. We definitely want to, last year, I think the EQC recommended that the city adopt a non-residential AC to heat pump building code, and that has not happened yet. So we think it's important that in this coming year, we resurface that and see what's necessary to get the city to do that. There are many much anecdotal evidence of our permitting process being slow and cumbersome, and that is slowing down electrification. So we thought about focusing on ways to maybe forming a subcommittee around looking into ways that we can streamline our permitting process in the city. There's also state level legislation that's working through the legislature right now that may end up being beneficial to our city. So we thought about looking into that. Commissioner Goodwin talked about focusing on tree planting in Bellhaven. We all are in favor of that. And then there was another thing that didn't get in here that maybe we talked about, but there's a thought about looking into an anti-idling ordinance within the city, what that might take and what effect that would have on our greenhouse gases and air quality. Obviously, it would be helpful if we reduced idling. Yeah, and then maybe Commissioner Goodwin or Ms. Launder can remind me about the Youth Advisory Committee, what our thoughts were on that.
This one should actually, should probably be promoted now to the regular items. But just ensuring that there's a subcommittee that's engaged with the Youth Advisory Committee each year, which generally includes like a presentation and working with the youth to identify a particular project. This past year, their project was providing a memo to the EQC on ways that youth could be better involved in the electrification outreach and engagement. And they also worked with the commission on the Love Our Earth Festival. So the project is still kind of TBD up to that cohort.
So those were some initial ideas that our subcommittee came up with. Originally, the plan was for us to present those, talk amongst the commission, gather input from other commissioners on other ideas they might have, or which ones that we suggested resonate with them, and then bring it back to the commission in August. But we have to do something different now because of time constraints, right?
So we have the opportunity tonight to start filling out the calendar and identifying all the topics. But at the very least, we have to approve the work plan goals.
Which I completely skipped over.
Yeah,
This is very similar to what we've had in the past. I don't think we made any changes to it, but welcome everybody to take a look at it. And if there are errors or omissions or changes that commissioners feel need to be made to our work plan goals, please, let us know. I think we'll do a presentation and then, I don't know, do you have anything to add?
I think you did a great job of explaining everything.
Okay. Yeah, so that's our presentation, and then I'll turn it back to the chair.
Commissioner McKenna, may I just make a comment? Reading through the goals, I noticed that although I value point number 2, goal
We'll save
number.
this for the discussion.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you.
Thank you for the presentation, Commissioner McKenna. Are there any clarifying questions from the EQC before we take public comment on this item?
Perhaps now, yeah.
Are we going to, I know Commissioner McKenna, you gave us a very good summary, but is there more of a write-up or something we can, because you gave, it was more elaborate than what I looked at.
We do not have a write-up beyond this,
Especially the
but
part.
happy to answer any questions you have
Okay.
when we get to.
I mean, for the public to have a record of it too.
Yeah, so for the climate action plan, I just recommended that we include like the Safer Bay project in there, building the levees to combat the sea level rising and things like that. So I know a couple of different cities are working on that. So I thought it would be great for us to kind of collaborate with them to see if there's ways that we can support with that, and ensuring that our most vulnerable communities have a voice in policies and programs to protect their communities from environmental impacts, just making sure that our communities are educated on what's going on in the environment so that they can take action, after they understand what's going on.
I have just one comment on this. I noticed that goal number 2, 6, and 7 are intertwined. So I would reorder just this plan to maybe raise 6 and 7 to tie into 2 as well. So the flow is much better for whoever who reads it. Because they are both, the 3 of them are about community engagement.
Okay, yeah. That's a great idea.
Are there more clarifying questions before we open for public comment?
No.
Okay, Ms. Launder, would you take public comment?
Sure. We're opening up public comment for item D4, set the fiscal year commission work plan. I do have one card in the room. And if you are online, now is your opportunity to raise your hand for item D4, set the fiscal year commission work plan.
Sure, I'm taken by it, right?
Okay. And no hands online, so we can start with the comment in the room on item D4. When you're ready, Brian.
Okay, thanks, Brian Schmidt again from Menlo Spark. I've submitted some comments on this item. Very supportive of the ambitious work plan. I had some comments that might help consolidate some of these issues and think about them as well. Regarding the climate action plan report that's supposed to come in November, I anticipate that to the extent it looks on progress to date, it's going to find that we are not on track to hit the 2030 deadline. What I've suggested is that at that point, it might be appropriate for EQC to appoint a subcommittee to think about what might be done in response. It might also be timely in the sense that we will have elections at the national, state, and local level that might give some indications of what resources are going to be available in the next couple of years. So 2027 might be a good time to think about what future next steps might be done regarding the climate action plan, both potentially new deadlines and potentially new actions as well. I believe there's going to be a review of the annual update on electrification. That might be a good opportunity to look at the building energy savings ordinance and building performance standards and non-residential AC heat pump. Just combine that all in that circumstance of or that category, thinking about progress towards electrification. And the anti-idling policy or potential ordinance also seems like a good new opportunity to do something, especially in the light of new technology that's in place. You can go to Uber now if you want to pick up your kid and have somebody come pick up your kid and order an EV so that they will not be idling and causing emissions at the same time. And as well as that, now as opposed to 5 years ago, there's a lot more EVs that are out there or other alternatives people can choose so they do not have to create emissions when they're waiting. And schools seems like a good place to focus on this, although not exclusively schools. I know there should be some indication for thinking about how enforceable this is. Could look at what other cities have done. This seems like an opportunity. Finally, I wanted to know Commissioner Goodwin's comment about Safer Bay. Climate Action Plan Strategy number 6 is to dealing with sea level rise, and I believe other aspects of climate adaptation. And in my 2+ years here with EQC, it's been seen relatively little attention. So maybe it would be appropriate to focus on some of those issues as well. Thank you.
Thank you for your comment. Okay, I don't see any hands online or additional cards in the room, so we can close public comment on item D4 and return the meeting to you, Chair.
Okay, well, thank you. I opened this for EQC discussion. And eventual motion. I seem to remember last year we each discussed individually what we thought were the higher priority items and why we thought so. And we sort of went around the room, and then it might have even come to a little bit prioritizing or voting at that. And but there are also several opportunities that have been in the room for merging a few of these, so we might also talk about those. I hesitate to begin though, because we have a temporary absence. So maybe we don't start. Maybe we take a little pause.
With that in mind, will the other absent commissioners have a chance, like, to weigh in on this fiscal year plan, work plan, or was this kind of the, I guess?
Oh, well, Commissioner Angeal sent along her preferences, so those have been captured. And
then Vice Chair was a part of this subcommittee.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And then in terms of like forming subcommittees, we could do that at the next meeting.
Okay, yeah.
Okay.
I do think it'd be great to identify them tonight, though.
I think that we could get a lot of the way
Yeah.
there. And okay, good.
I think the BPS and Bezo subcommittees, like, we already decided we were gonna do that at our last BPS Bezo meeting. So
And
that was gonna be 6 months, I think, from whenever we made that presentation. Was that May?
Who's May?
November.
Or December? November?
Do we have a November meeting this year?
You do.
Should we pencil that in for November?
All right.
And then also, we can't forget that the Complete Streets Co-Committee is still active. I don't know when the readout on that is or how that would work.
Yeah.
Chair, would you update me just for the need for the subcommittee?
The Complete Streets
Yeah.
or the subcommittee structure.
Yeah. Why the need for a joint subcommittee?
Okay.
I'm on that joint subcommittee. There
Yeah.
were 2 other EQC commissioners on that as well.
Correct.
They are no longer on the commission, so I'm looking for partners in crime to join me, but there are 2 commissioners on the Complete Streets Commission. It was formed as a joint committee because Complete Streets has sort of authority over determining what is the vehicle miles traveled reduction that we need to meet to be in our climate action plan. But it obviously crosses over quite a bit. So the question was, are we using the right metric? Is VMT the right metric? And that joint commission met a couple times and then it sort of stalled. So I think the idea would be get another commissioner or 2 from EQC to join that joint commission, and then we can restart that work.
We'll be happy to join you.
Okay.
Okay, but that's all unofficial.
Yeah, that's true. That's just a conversation.
But yeah, that was, there was a tremendous amount of discussion about metrics the last time we talked about the climate action plan. And there was a lot of consternation and dissatisfaction with vehicle miles traveled, particularly because, there was just a lot of dimensions to why it didn't suit. So,
Some of the
yeah.
data we were getting didn't seem to make any sense, so.
And then also, how do we want to handle vehicle mile traveled if it's an electric vehicle? Well, it is not emitting as much, but and then it is though impacting the embodied carbon of the roadway by degrading the roadway, requiring repairs.
So when subcommittees are created, do they involve staff time as well?
Yes. But most of the work is done by the subcommittee, but we coordinate closely with staff to get direction and,
Do they have to be present at the meeting?
no, but we usually schedule a few meetings with staff during the subcommittee's duration. So it's typically 3 months subcommittee. And so there'll probably be 2 or 3 meetings with staff in that time, and then many more meetings with just the commissioners.
Okay.
Yeah, they're not brown.
Subcommittee, the subcommittee exists because of the way it exists is because we need to adhere to the Brown Act.
Right.
You're
Well, that's why a maximum of 3 of each.
right. The idea is that they can talk about business as a threesome
Right.
under the auspices of a subcommittee in order to get something done and then bring it back. So it's a way of getting work done without breaking the law.
I think we can talk about this while Brian's gone, but one of the other items we brainstormed was sort of re-elevating the non-residential AC to heat pump. And we even thought about, can we upgrade our flex path, which was mentioned in a public comment? Would it make sense to include all of those building type things in the same subcommittee for November?
Definitely.
Okay, well, I would suggest that.
And it also loops in the Stanford thing.
That vacation
It depends. The original concept of the Stanford Sustainable Cities, of course, partnership was that they were going to identify projects that the city had with the highest return projects that the city had within its scope of power in order to reduce emissions coming into 2030. So it sort of straddles between the CAP review and the BenzoCAP, which is obviously the highest value project.
We could kind of loop in the USGBC presentation for lead for cities with the Stanford Sustainable Cities. That could be same kind of meeting, like not the same subcommittee.
Gotcha.
But I'm just envisioning the USGBC as a presentation
Yeah.
to the commission to see if it's something the commission wants to recommend that city council consider.
Actually, speaking of that, can you tell us more, like, besides giving awards to buildings, what would this be for the city? Why would we pursue this particular lead for cities program? What is the
Well, that would be the reason for the presentation, so we could understand what benefits participating in that program could bring to Menlo Park. I mean,
what kind of a program?
possibly, like, maybe there's something that says if you're lead as a city, then it opens the door to more grants, perhaps. I don't know.
So there's something like lead for a city.
Yes.
May I offer, is that like under cap number 5, decarbonizing our municipal operations?
Yeah, I think
So it's for thinking about our facilities.
Okay.
And there might be some subtopics too that could pair nicely with that one. Related to the pool, for instance, or related to our EV charging,
or
or
even
the capital
even
projects.
the cool seal
Mhm.
could fall under something like city streets, right?
Yeah, that could be a CIP. That would be a CIP.
So having that present, like, we were envisioning that the folks who have this cool seal product would just make a presentation to the commission to explain how it works, what other cities are doing it, what the benefits are, what the costs are, and if that's something that our city wants to consider for future public works.
Yeah.
To reduce the heat in the city.
That's exciting. That could be, is it lighter colored? Is that part of it?
That's gotta be part of it.
Yeah. That's cool. Okay, so why don't we each then offer some thoughts about perhaps maybe the top 3 things that we would see on the work plan, and then the reasons why, and we'll put you in the hot seat, Commissioner Goodwin, if you were on that subcommittee, so you know.
Yeah, so thank you. I would say the top 3 for me are sea level rise and resiliency, focusing on the Safer Bay projects, the tree planting in Belhaven will be second for me. And then I would say number 3 for me, the food systems focus on engagement with Belhaven collective will be number 3.
Thank you. Can you tell a little bit more about the food systems? And where did that idea come from? And
Yeah, so we've been talking about this in at the CRC meetings, the Belhaven CCT meetings. We have meetings every month. And we're talking about educating people on foods, healthier food systems, growing their own foods, and just like basically education and support for a healthier community would be like the overall concept of that. Yeah. And there's like farmers markets that we have there to help the community and as well have access to foods that's healthier and more affordable as well to people who are disadvantaged.
can I throw in another request?
Yeah.
Can we match them to the work plan with the currently numbered work plan goals to make sure that we cover the work plan? So for instance, the sea level rise and Safer Bay, does anybody have the work plan up? Thank you. Okay, so the sea level rise and the Safer Bay, that would probably be number 2
And number 1
and number 1, okay? And
and 4.
tree planting, oh yeah, good point. Okay, so the tree planting,
Can I just ask on the tree planting, what do we hope to achieve in that process? Like, because we have an urban forest master plan, right?
No,
we do
No.
not.
So what can EQC do to accelerate that?
so once a vendor is selected for that, the EQC can provide feedback on different components of what sort of data is collected, how outreach is approached.
Okay,
Yeah, so there's a lot of opportunity there.
cool. Great, I was ignorant about that.
Yeah, and maybe if it makes sense with the consultant forming a subcommittee to do some research or some outreach or some.
Great.
In our last meeting, we were talking about the trees that we have in the nursery. And I know that I think it was like maybe 30 trees,
Right.
if I remember correctly. Yeah, and then I remember that we talked about that it was only for West Menlo Park and not the Bellhaven
Right.
community. So that's why I kind of wanted to focus on tree planting there to make sure that we have a plan for getting more trees planted there. It helps with the heat,
Yeah, I'm fully
air
supportive.
quality and everything. So I just want to make sure that we have an action plan for that as well for the entire Menlo Park.
I agree.
So that's that aligns with number 3, and then number 4 and number 2. Okay. Great. There's a method to my madness by doing this. The food systems and the education, that okay. Where would that fall into the work plan goals? Let's see. What do you think, Brittany? Number 4?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
And might I offer, if we want to update this language, we could say support sustainability and environmental justice initiatives.
Yeah, it doesn't. Didn't it used to have the environmental justice?
Yeah,
initiative? I thought it was in there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
But
I
it seems
think
to have
so.
fallen out.
Let's make sure it's in this time.
So it's meant to be. It's in the spirit of number 2, I imagine.
Yeah.
So that must have. Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're up next, Commissioner McKenna.
You want me to list my top 3?
Your top 3 and a little
Oh,
bit
my
about
top 10.
why. No, the top 3, a little bit about why, and then which of the work plan goals it connects to.
Okay. Well, probably no surprise, the building codes, my number 1, getting a Bezo on our books, getting that.
Sorry, Joe, before
Yeah.
we go, so are you voting for cap 1? Because I see you're putting his vote for cap 1 as opposed to building emissions. So I'm just wondering what granularity of vote we're supposed to provide. Are we voting for cap 1 or are we voting for building emission savings?
When you were gone, we decided to lump all 4 of those together
Okay.
into one subcommittee.
Okay,
So I
Got
think she's
All right, so
indicating that
okay,
that's my first choice.
okay, so that's the whole group.
Yeah.
Okay.
What's your number 2, John?
One thing I don't even have on here is artificial turf.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, I like that one. Yeah.
We had a very robust discussion and presentation and recommendation, and I just don't know what's happening on that front. And so if staff feels like we need to re-present this or in a different way, or what can EQC do to affect change around a moratorium or what's the right word? A ban on artificial turf in the city. Thoughts from
Yeah,
staff
sure.
or sorry. Through the
Would
chair.
that be, so are you asking, like, is that your number 2? And you
Yeah.
want to discuss it?
Yeah,
Okay, all right. So it would be artificial turf and how to raise it to the level of maybe.
how to move
Okay.
EQC's recommendation forward beyond EQC.
Right, okay.
Do we do that?
We do. It was the only vote I was a part of, well, actually until tonight, where it wasn't unanimous.
Yeah.
They opposed it.
Oh, that's a different, I think,
The school, I'm talking about the school.
No, they punted it, didn't they? There was so much
Probably not
discussion.
relevant here.
All right.
We can talk offline.
Okay, all right.
Good one.
As far as the artificial turf conversation goes, there are two pieces of it, what we do on city property and then how we want to regulate it in the community. For the city property, those decisions come up through our capital improvement program and projects, and so like other commissions may see those projects and get to weigh in, and there'd be public process through that. They'd also go to city council. So that's for the city facilities.
So on that point, what EQC wanted was that the city just said, no more artificial turf on city property. So my goal is that we go beyond what other commissions have to do and we just make it a city policy. That was our recommendation to council.
And right, and so however, the way we do it right now is through, on a project by project basis, and we don't have direction from city council to develop a policy. And so as an advisory body,
We've done all we can do.
exactly,
That's put words in my mouth. Yeah.
Does that mean you wanted Steve a
guess
different number
That
two?
shouldn't be on my list if there's nothing we can do.
Shame.
Well, I'm really,
You could mean revisit.
doesn't sound like it's gonna make a difference. We gotta go a different path.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I've always been very interested in resiliency and adaptation, and I think I never get this right, but there's something we're waiting for before we really dig into that. But that's a priority for me.
And your third?
I guess my third will just be that we sort of look at the city level things that were brought up, the USGBC and the cool pavements.
so I did keep them separate because the cap number 5 is specific to buildings.
Hmm.
And the cool seal for pavement's not a building. And it starts to lurch into the Complete Streets Commission work because most of our repaving happens in concert with like bike lanes and other like head infrastructure.
So you don't think it would be helpful to have a presentation to EQC?
It might go the same way as the turf, but I don't think that was I thought that was a very helpful presentation and it has informed.
Yeah.
And elevated all of our awareness across the city. So I would just keep it separate.
Okay.
I mean, it can still go on the work plan as long as there's room in our agenda, right?
Exactly.
Even if there's no steering committee.
Yeah. We don't need to have a subcommittee for it.
Right.
For them to be a informational presentation.
And where do you see, so the USGBC, that's,
So we don't have to have your vote on it, John. We don't have to throw away your vote on it. We'll just make sure it happens and we can put you here.
Okay.
so that connects to work plan goal number 1. And I think that's the only one, unless you see a different connection. Okay. So do you now have 3 or 2?
3. Building codes basically, and resiliency and adaptation as number 2, and then the USGBC and sort of city level stuff as number 3.
Okay, lovely. All right. Thank you. Yeah,
But all
Commissioner,
the others are important too, right?
other people will jump on this.
So cap number 1 is my number 1. Climate action plan dashboard and electrification education hubs number 2.
What's dashboard, what does that connect to? That connects to public meeting environment. What do you which work plan goal does that one?
Probably.
Number
Yeah.
6, yeah.
Sort of. Yeah, number 7 too.
Yeah, that's
Maybe even 4.
oh yeah, well, yeah, definitely. I think they're all 4 in the end, aren't they? And Commissioner Kissel, what is your number 3?
Plus. Number 3.
Lots of influence, but don't you work with college campuses?
Good point of view. Yeah, I do. Yeah. So let's stand for Sustainable Cities Partnership.
Did I influence?
Yeah, definitely.
With a nudge,
Thank you.
friendly nudge.
Which work goal would that one line up with?
So that one, we really get to co-create the project with the students, so it's kind of undetermined at this point. We get to shape how we want to use their brilliant minds to help us.
Yeah, it was pretty impressive.
Yeah.
Still probably come up imminently, but we don't have anti-idling up there.
This is what I wanted to mention because if you add it, so I can add my name against it.
Yeah, so that's another one of those tricky ones where we go back to the kind of artificial turf conversation where anti-idling doesn't live in the climate action plan or the environmental justice element, which are both our city council.
Can I suggest that there's the environmental justice element priority number 3, which is air quality, and maybe this ties into it.
Yeah, maybe
Okay.
we could do a closer look at the environmental justice element, air quality, is it
Priority number
priority
3.
Yeah.
I have a question. I was looking at some of these and for the climate action plan dashboard and electrification education hub, if we were going to do like a education hub, would it be possible, like if we're to combine all of the education in one like section, like for electrification,
Remediation.
food systems,
Mhm.
everything?
Yeah, that would be the goal for this.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
So,
So maybe it shouldn't be called the
yeah.
electrification.
Very
education
that's a
hub.
good one.
Yeah,
Sustainability Education Hub.
Yeah.
And really also,
Mhm. Yeah.
So
is that your first priority?
So,
Commissioner
I'm-
Salad?
I'm just wondering if the climate action plan and environmental justice element dashboard and sustainability education can be tied into the youth advisory committee. I really wholeheartedly think we should, and Commissioner Goodwin, obviously you're the youth in this room. I think these are our future environmental advocate. And we really need to work on this. And if we, I would be very, very interested to work on this. But it would be great to have a younger person also join the effort, so they lead by example, and then show the way for people.
Yeah, that's a great.
I know you already picked your 3, but
Yeah.
yeah,
ask the youth advisory committee to join in on that one.
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, we could ask their members if there's interest.
Okay,
Great
perfect.
idea.
I think there would be.
Yeah.
So for me, if I have to choose, is camp number 6 as number 1, which is the sea level rise. I think it is clear and present danger, and as Mr. Brian Schmidt mentioned, it's not taking a lot of attention at this point.
yeah, just as an aside, they're predicting that this El Nino, some substantial sea level rise, like this year. So it's here.
And I think I mentioned anti-idling. I don't know how I got
So I think
lumped into something.
how we could best handle it is
Or environmental justice,
zooming
priority
in
number
a bit
3.
and
Yeah.
seeing truly what would be the best kind of policy or program to improve air quality.
Yeah. Would you like to add me for this one, please?
So, okay, so your top one is CAP 6, sea level rise, and the next one is youth advisory, and then the last is the EJ.
Yeah.
Okay.
But is this the order of importance that we're putting, or because I put equal weight on all of them?
Well, we are asking for an order of importance.
Okay,
I'm
so
taking your order of talking as order of
Yeah,
importance.
I hear you. So still I would go with the sea level rising as top priority, and then the anti-idling as number 2, and then the youth advocacy and the education as number 3. Thank you.
Okay. So I'm the cap 1 is my top, and then cap 6 is my other top,
No, you can't do that.
is my second, but it's kind of my lifelong first. But I really want to streamline some permits.
So are we ranking these in order just to see what should make it on the work plan or who should be on the subcommittee?
To actually a little bit of what should be on the work plan, because some things are gonna fall off if they get no or zero, votes. And then the last one, I don't know.
Rachel, you need to give a nudge. You're struggling.
Tree planting.
No, cap 5 with Senor McKenna.
That surprised me.
Well, at the Bezo thing, he got me hooked on buildings.
I love that.
I need buildings.
Yeah. So, okay. So what's our work plan gonna look like? We have. All right, let's see. So for Commissioner Goodwin, plumped for the cap 6. Do we have her marked? Oh, you got her marked down there. And then what was the tree planting in the urban forest? That was, so she's there. Okay, you captured everybody, didn't you?
Yeah.
Aren't you tricky?
Are you working?
No, she was doing it.
Sorry.
She was doing it 3
The
times.
opposite way from you. Okay, all right. In that case, then what do we have ourselves? Can we order them according to the number of people who signed up?
Can I make one suggestion?
Yeah.
September's will be here before we know it, and that won't give a subcommittee much time to do anything. So maybe we have the presentations from outside folks in September, like the USGBC presentation,
That sounds great.
assuming they are available to make, but at least pencil that in.
And Public Works Director Mitch also shared with me that she should have an update on cap number 6 by then, so that could be a good informational setting the stage for that subcommittee in September.
Great.
However, there's a lot of outside players, so I don't want to hold us
Yeah.
to that, but.
I'll reach out to USGBC and see if they're available.
Okay, so I think.
And we don't have to do all the formatting in kind of real time during this meeting. I can
Yeah.
fix that. And generally, if there's not strong preferences for the calendaring, I can put that together as well. Now that we have kind of the assignments and the topics. Unless there's like someone knows, that a certain one's not gonna work well for them.
We need to add in Commissioner Angeal.
Oh, excellent.
Let me bring up.
Oh, she put.
She did. She sent along her input and
One other suggestion is, since that joint committee was formed, I think a year ago, November or something. Maybe we could have that, since that committee's already done a little bit of work and has a little head start, maybe that one could be in September or October.
And they would be reporting out though to the Complete Streets Commission.
Okay,
But maybe that joint subcommittee provide like an info update.
yeah. Okay, which one? The joint Complete Streets Commission and the Environmental Quality
here's
Commission.
where she came
Subcommittee
in.
on BMT.
She was on for food systems.
Awesome.
In the education. And then her other one was the dashboard, which I think might have been combined.
With the education.
Okay,
So
so now
perfect.
she gets, all right. Her next one was the tree planting.
Okay, we're all set for it.
And then, no, but she gets one more because her first two are actually one.
What?
Oh, she had food systems.
So her first one was food systems, and then the next one was the climate action plan dashboard. Oh, yeah, didn't the food systems get folded into? Oh, it didn't. Okay.
We still have her down for the treatment. What was after that?
After tree planting?
Uh-huh.
Permit streamlining.
Okay, that one's full in.
Okay, so it looks like we've kind of done it. So, the ones that fell off, just to summarize, because that's always a problem. The ones that fell off are the cool seal because it's not really our bailiwick.
Well, but it could be a
It's just gonna be a
presentation.
presentation, so we just don't have.
Yeah, we can slot it in.
Can we do
Oh,
that
so
one
I
in
thought we
September
pushed
also?
it to be a presentation for the people over at
Complete Streets.
Complete Streets. We should invite them. Okay.
You want me to shoot for September with that one too? Since it's a presentation? No, outside group,
Maybe October.
okay,
You could give them both the option, September, October.
okay.
No, and then let us not forget that we have that joint committee. Is that one on there? The Complete Streets Joint Subcommittee? Is that on our
No,
list?
need to add that.
Are you recruiting for it right now or?
But no, it needs to be, if it's part of our work plan and it's a subcommittee, then it needs to be on our list of,
Yes.
so.
Yeah, we need a couple members, so. If he wants to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess we're recruiting for it. Did she mention that? No, she didn't.
And when we're approving the work plan, if we're not gonna approve all of the subcommittees tonight, we can at least maybe approve that one. So you can continue working
Okay,
with the new master.
Well, I think we could approve a few.
Yeah.
So, maybe we should try to assemble a few motions.
Okay.
Do people feel comfortable with that? I think this came together pretty smoothly. Let me just see, so the
great
climate.
leadership.
So, right, yes, there was a proposal that, I think is worth discussion about a subcommittee that might form in order to review and update the climate action plan progress of emissions reduction.
Mhm.
Is that sort of implicit in
dashboard,
the dashboard?
I think
Really, I think it's implicit in the state. So the original reason we called on Stanford was for them to help us identify.
And it's just too large of a,
Is it still too large of a?
probably, yeah.
Well, this is.
Too large of, please continue. There's-
Oh.
She wanted to put an effort to have the students like quantify all of the actions in a climate action plan
Okay,
against the progress we've made.
okay.
And I think the main goal was to get which actions have the highest emission reduction potential.
Right.
You know, that could be, I think when we were pulling together though, it became pretty clear when we were just pulling together the paperwork, even
Yeah.
looking at the Burlingame stuff, that the big hit was the ordinances around the buildings.
Yeah.
And so we may not need a subcommittee for this, but we might need a recap, presentation.
Yeah, and it wouldn't hurt to have a subcommittee start visioning what an update to our climate action plan could or should look like, or how we approach it. Because if staff were to, with the EQC, start updating the climate action plan, we'd really need to start doing that next year. So we have something in place when 2030 comes around. So it wouldn't be a bad idea to kind of start visioning that this
Okay.
year.
All right, do we have room? Do we have willing bodies? All right.
Awesome. So that means you're maybe committed to more than 3 subcommittees.
That's fine.
I'll sign up for
You're
that
ready
one
to
too.
I'll just throw this out there. I was thinking the other day about, would it make sense to have a subcommittee that sort of explored carrots? Like,
Incentive.
yeah, like what carrots can the city offer its residents to make meaningful change in our emissions from transportation and buildings? I mean, buildings we have Westlight Energy and rebates and programs. So maybe there's not a lot of there, but maybe there's just some brainstorming we could do to think about carrots to get our residents more excited to do.
So it's like cap and trade.
Could that get dropped in also as a piece of what's happening with the co-committee with Complete Streets? Because it seems like a lot of the carrots for
No, I don't.
using the bike lane.
That subcommittee is very specific to
Okay.
understanding the right metric for
Yeah.
vehicle miles traveled. So I don't think we can insert it there, but
Oh, well.
I don't know. I'm just trying to like think out of the box, like
Yeah.
what, we're not close to achieving our cap goals. We're doing what we can, but I don't know, maybe there's some carrots out there that we're missing that the city has the wherewithal to provide. That's worth exploring.
Maybe it's worth brainstorming, like benchmarking what other cities are doing that are primarily not financial. Because that's gonna be the constraint.
Yeah.
I mean, like that, I think it's Sunnyvale has the year of the heat pump hot water heater or something, right?
Mountain View, yeah.
Mountain View, right? And that's a great program, but it costs money.
Mm-hmm.
So the question is, what can we be doing that doesn't cost money?
Like Sunnyvale, I think they have something basically that says if you build all electric, you can build a bigger building.
Right,
Right.
that kind of stuff.
That kind of stuff.
Yeah. Commissioner McKenna, would you like to join that committee?
Well, then that one kind of loops back up to the cap, number one implementation.
Well, cap one's specific to buildings. I'm just thinking broader, like
Oh,
Right,
Yeah,
incentives and.
climate action plan carrots or
yeah,
something.
yeah. Climate carrots.
Cap carrots.
Carrots.
I wouldn't mind joining the CAP planning committee as well.
Awesome.
Well, it feels like we're shorthanded, but we're down by two.
Yeah, so we need to just put their names in.
Yeah, no, we'll come back.
We just need a placeholder for the subcommittee.
Yeah, we
and
just
can
need this, we
format
don't need
it.
personnel,
We can
yeah,
form them in September.
okay. let's get
This is
some-
enough for me to format, and then it will actually probably be easier for everyone to process what they've committed to, and we can adjust in September.
Okay, let's see if we can put together some sort of set of motions.
So Chair, may I say one thing? So we're not having a meeting in August.
Correct.
So that's going to be 2 months. But is there any to-do list for us, for those who want to
Well, so
voluntarily
let's,
work on stuff?
tell you what, let's move to create these subcommittees and then start to think about the blocking and tackling of when and who and how.
Perfect.
Because we do have some names against them, and once the committees are formed, then that is licensed to work. But you do need to know when your readout is,
Start.
so you might just be stuck on that. In any event, let's get some motions.
Okay.
Let's get motiony. So we would have a motion yes, Sustainability Manager Launder, would you be able to verbalize some motions for creating these subcommittees that we have identified for our work plan?
Sure. So one option could be to motion and second to set the fiscal year commission work plan. And finalize the and finalize the ad hoc subcommittees. And assignments as listed in the work plan. So we could do that tonight. We could pick just a few subcommittees to finalize, if there's just a few that want to get started. We could,
Oh, we have to name people in order for them to.
no, we could just say like as.
Right.
As described.
Okay. All right, so I move that we do that.
Okay, so we have a motion by Chair Hill to set the fiscal year commission work plan. Continue the work plan ad hoc subcommittee through September to finalize the agenda schedule. And approve the ad hoc subcommittee assignments as discussed this evening.
Do we need to include the VMT in this motion?
I
It's
have
in there.
it for McKenna and Thad.
3 from the bottom.
So if there's anyone else who'd like to join.
Yeah, or big streets.
Oh, I guess I wasn't clear. I wasn't sure what we were motion. Okay.
So the motion is to create these the work plan and these subcommittees to achieve the work plan action items that we have identified. Did I say that right? Okay. And I moved.
Are there edits to the work plan goals that we need to look at before we
I
vote?
made some edits in real time, so if
Okay.
the group agrees,
Okay.
then we've taken care of that with action.
I move to second that motion.
Okay, so we have a motion by Chair Hill and a second by Commissioner Thad to set the fiscal year commission work plan, continue the work plan ad hoc subcommittee through September to finalize the agenda schedule and to form the ad hoc subcommittee assignments as discussed this evening.
Lovely.
And we'll do our roll. Thank you. Commissioner
On
Thad?
four, yes.
Okay, Commissioner Kissel?
Yes.
Commissioner McKenna?
The question. Do I have to vote and then ask? Then yes.
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 Okay. So moved. Thank you. You want to ask your question?
So regarding September, we don't have an August meeting. We're talking about having some presentations. I'm gonna reach out to the groups we talked about. How does that fit into like protocol? Like, do I go through the chair? Or to set September's,
We can work together on that.
okay,
Yeah. You're on the work plan ad hoc subcommittee. So
Yeah.
that's a part of finalizing the agenda schedule.
okay, perfect.
Yeah, we actually will want to avoid bringing in the chair or other commissioners.
Okay. I
Cool.
Okay, good. Is there anything further we need to do in order to help anybody who is thinking that they want to get started? For instance, do we want to think about which subcommittees might be reading out in, say, December or January versus later in the year, and why that might be? Or are
Well,
we,
since we already motioned, would be a little out of time to talk about that now. But what we can do is provide an updated clean version of this in the minutes, and the subcommittees can review it from there. And form, if that makes sense.
makes sense? Right. Oh, we're back to okay, we are on to the next topic E, reports and announcements. We can now hear reports and announcements from staff and commissioner. I think, Ms. Launder, you have a few reports and announcements.
I do have a couple. I just wanted to share, as of July 1, the City Hall and Burgess Pool solar systems are now operational, thanks to our power purchase agreements with Westlight Energy. So all that we have left from our solar portfolio is our Bellhaven Child Development Center. But however, we have good news there. Our contract was awarded the electrification of that building last night at City Council. So we'll be excited to move forward with the construction fall, winter of this year. I also wanted, wow,
That's great.
yes. Many thanks to our public works team on that one. Yeah, we did a lot of heavy lifting for that.
Quickly.
Yes. And then I just wanted to share that with our e-bike voucher and electric vehicle rebate program, all of the e-bike vouchers have been distributed. We've had 3 residents purchase their e-bikes, and then we now had 2 folks approved for EV rebates, and there are still some EV rebates available. So just want to encourage folks who think they might be eligible to check out information on the city's website.
That's great.
Is there kind of promotional activities to let people know?
Yeah, and I can share that with the commission so you guys can forward within your.
Yeah,
networks.
perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, there are multiple things we can post on Nextdoor.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that'd be awesome.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Are there any other reports or announcements?
did you? No. Everyone may know this, but Peninsula Clean Energy is now Westlight Energy. as of July 1st. And I guess in the spirit of carrots, I'll just remind everyone that all the people watching right now that you know, you can get a $3,500 rebate from Westside Energy for a heat pump water heater. Menlo Park will give you another $1,500. The state still has the Golden State rebate, which is $700. So what is that up? $5,700. It makes your heat pump water heater way less expensive and maybe even free than a gas water heater. So go and get your rebates while you can. And then Westlight has numerous programs and rebates available as well for other products. And then also mention that California, My First EV program was approved in the budget later this summer. Now the federal tax rebates are gone, but the state is stepping in, and you can get $3,500 off a new electric vehicle for any vehicle that's up to $50,000. You can get $1,750 off of a used electric vehicle that's priced up to $25,000. So yeah, take advantage of that carrot as well. I have an EV. It's the best car I've ever had. I mean, basically zero maintenance. It costs about a third to half of what it would cost to run a gas car. And yeah, I mean, there are challenges still with finding charging, but if you have that charging available or it can easily install it, it's the way to go.
And then on the heat pump thing, if you're thinking about doing it, also talk to a company called Sunwork, which is a nonprofit, does great work, and they will handle the rebates for you.
They are fantastic. They also do solar. Yeah. Any other reports or announcements? Yeah, okay. Well, in that case, we are adjourned.